Welcome to Incoherent Thoughts, episode 22. Can you believe it, Bradley? We've reached two mere numbers.
Yeah. I say it every week. I can never believe that we're on X episode. So.
You are easily blown away, I guess. Very low expectations.
I suppose so.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of sad, actually.
Wow.
Anyways, happy April Fools. The best day of the internet. Huh?
Very happy. Mm-hmm.
How was your April Fools, Bradley?
Well, I slept for 15 hours, so rather uneventful.
Wow. That's pretty lame. You didn't get pranked? Didn't see anybody get pranked?
No, but I almost tripped myself going up the stairs, so it's kind of a prank.
Wow, you really pulled one on yourself there, buddy.
Yeah, that could have been pretty bad. Well, how was your April day?
Good. But wait, didn't your dog sort of pull a prank?
Oh yeah. So basically, what happened was something was pissing out of the carbon monoxide detector. It wasn't actually the gas. I don't know what I wanted. And it scared the shit out of my dog, and that dog literally actually happened to be sitting on my sister's boyfriend's lap, and so he had to deal with that. I can't imagine that was very fun. I wasn't actually there to see it, but I heard it was a pretty big poo.
A pretty big poo, huh?
For such a tiny dog.
Fair enough. My April Fool's was pretty good. A little disappointed, I've got to say. Usually, April Fool's internet stuff is a lot bigger, very grand, especially Reddit. I was very disappointed in Reddit this year. The overall website didn't have anything for April Fool's, so pretty tragic actually. Let's see, we had the hat collector, we had the Periwinkle versus Orange Red. We had the fucking camera Reddit where like you could browse Reddit through your webcam.
Oh yeah.
We've had some great stuff on Reddit for April Fools, but this year we didn't have anything. I was really disappointed. I was like, when is it gonna come out? So that was kind of a shame. Were there any you were looking forward to?
DFO did one, kind of. Well, it was the Korean DFO that did it, but I guess it was more of a joke, because I didn't see much of it. It was like something that people thought they were gonna do, but they didn't. It's like adult DFO.
Oh, like nude?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun. Yeah. There are a few fun ones going around. YouTube was pretty great. Did you watch any YouTube videos today yet?
Just the ones I had loaded before.
It's a shame, man. You missed out. YouTube had a add music option that when you clicked, it would play a 1 second snippet of Dared Sandstorm over any video. So that was I thought that was a lot of people went very meta this year with their April Fools. I guess a lot of people do, but YouTube did the Dared Sandstorm edition, which is pretty great, considering how hard it took over YouTube this past year, I guess. So that was fun. You can just spam it over videos during boring spots. Twitch had a pretty great one. I love Twitch. Twitch's was very simple, but it's just so good. Basically, they made I don't know how big of a Twitch chat aficionado you are, but common thing on Twitch chat, especially a long time ago, was you would put Kappa, which is a emote, and then you would say equals gray face no space, right? And so they made Kappa for today only. Actually, you had to say gray face to use Kappa, and when you type Kappa, it actually shows like a missing, like it shows the outline of the face with a question mark. So I thought that was pretty great that like they made Kappa into gray face. That was pretty a lot of people got really creative with it. Like they would put like Kappa, so which is like the question mark face Kappa. They'd be like, "Who's that Pokemon?" So that was pretty fun seeing everyone mess around with that in good old Twitch chat. Amazon had one, which I actually thought would be pretty cool. Basically, they had it so that like you could get like a button for different products around your house, and whenever you run low on that product, you just press the button, and it automatically places an order for a new amount of that, whatever that is. So it could be like toothpaste, cleaner product, oatmeal, whatever. So I thought that would be pretty cool, although very cluttersome.
Yeah.
So that was Amazon. The League of Legends subreddit did a pretty decent one. They went meta as well and did like everything that was more than one word. They filtered into okay, and you had to hover over the comment to see what they actually said.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I wasn't sure
Basically,
what it was,
everything just became okay.
I guess that makes sense.
All the icons became Ramus. It was very nice. So that was fun. I gotta say, the one that I like just laughed the most about was r/movies. r/movies Circle Jerk was given 25 of the 25 people that subreddit were given moderator privileges in r/movies. And so, like, r/movies today was just a giant circle jerk, and it was one of the greatest things ever. Because there's so many like issues with r/movies. It's like everyone just like loves Leonardo DiCaprio and loves Chris Nolan. They love like Interstellar and stuff. So people would be like, this many up Nolans, and Christopher Nolan will add 1 hour for each up Nolan, like in his next movie or some shit. And then like someone put like, today I learned, or like little known facts about movies, and then they did the same fact that's often posted on the subreddit 12 times in different wordings. I don't know, it was great. I was actually like laughing really hard going through those, so that was a good time. I don't know, I always love April Fool's Day on the internet. I think it's a great time. And it was a shame that good old Reddit didn't do anything this year. I mean, even one of the I don't know, just like a lot of sites did it and Reddit didn't, man. Just a shame.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Do you remember any historically that you really enjoyed?
No.
No. Alright. Have you ever done like a good April Fool's Day prank? I always liked the idea of pranking someone, but I don't know. I just never follow through on any of my pranks.
No, I'm too lazy. And I can't think of any good ones off the top of my head anyway.
Have you ever been pranked?
Not that I know of.
I know Bart pranks you pretty frequently.
Yeah, he's just being an asshole. He doesn't care what day it is.
Fair enough. Riot Games had a pretty big April Fool's Day event itself with Earth and the Earthitational and all that stuff. They had a pretty good time with that. Um, they brought back Earth for everyone to play. Dude, I legitimately thought that like Nerf was gonna go through. Like when I was in Champ Select for Earth, I was thinking about who would be good for Nerf, and then I realized afterwards that it was Earth. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I was kind of interested in what Nerf would be like, but Earth is always very fun. How about you? Do you enjoy Earth? Were you looking forward to Nerf?
Yeah, I was. I was looking forward to it actually. But Earth is still good. You know, we got what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So yep. Do you know what changes they made to Rise so you
I
can
don't
play
know
them now?
what they changed actually. I didn't like go through like their changes or whatever, except for a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
last time Rise was unplayable. It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. Hmm.
Who were your favorite champions last time it was around? Or maybe this time. I don't know how much you got to play it this time.
I only played a couple matches, but last time I definitely liked Blitzcrank.
Blitzcrank? Always a good
Yeah.
choice.
Hmm. Alistair was fun as well.
Yeah, they nerfed Alistar a bit this time around.
The healing reduction?
The healing reduction, his ult doesn't last as long, and the stun
Oh, yeah.
from his headbutt ends immediately after the arc. There's not a prolonged stun. But yeah. A few of my like last time I remember I really enjoyed Morgana. I played Morgana this time. It was fun, but it gets hard, dude. They're so fucking mobile. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Varus is really stupid. Really stupid. Like when you can just get killed from off screen constantly, it's pretty fucking annoying.
I know Ezreal's really strong.
Ezreal's just like I don't know. I wouldn't say he's like OP, but he's just like a really solid pick. You know, that's what he seems like to me for Earth. Because there are a lot stronger champions for it, like Evelyn, stuff like that. But yeah, I enjoyed playing like. Let's see, what did I? Maokai was fun. Poppy was interesting. What else did I play? I played a few. It was fun. I don't know how long they're gonna have up yet.
I played 80 Style. Oh. I got to play 80 Style.
Like it?
It was fine, actually, except for the ult. The ult was pretty
Yeah,
shitty.
it's like a 12-second cooldown at max rank or something. So,
Yeah.
AP Scion was supposed to be pretty decent, though.
Oh.
So, maybe try that out. I don't know how long they're going to keep it up this time. I think last time they had it up for like a week, right?
Yeah.
So they kept it up for a week this time as well. So it's lots of fun. This year they had another like exhibition match with like a bunch of pros and like league personalities, which was really fun. They did like this old-fashioned theme kind of thing, which was kind of odd. I mean, it was fun for like its silliness, but at the same time, it was a little bit cringy because none of them could really do like a really good accent. But you know, it was just for the sake of fun, so it was a good time. It was just a little bit odd. They made some good jokes off of it though. Freak was always weird as shit, as he always is. But like, they had like Riv like casting a game from like the 1800s. It was like all black and white, and like with like old vernacular and stuff. So that was pretty entertaining. The match itself was fun. They brought back a bunch of old pros, like Chowster, Hotshot, Reginald, Ottawa, Clicky D, stuff like that. Then they just had a few people, like Freak and Zyrene were like the in-game coaches or some shit. I don't know. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun. You know, sometimes riots events are really shitty, but this was a pretty great one. The one of my favorite parts though was like at the end where they're like, they showed like the production crew who worked on it. It was just like a bunch of the crew member, like a bunch of LCS players as the crew members. So it was like written by Notorious P.O.B. and like executive producer Zhao Wei Zhao. So that was kind of funny. Like they had like a end of a sitcom like reel where like they would just show them and like they'd wave and stuff. So that was pretty funny. Yeah. So that's pretty much it with April Fools, unless you have anything else to say.
Nah.
Well, competitive league was is starting to wrap up. The LCSs have come to a conclusion. Now all that is left is playoffs. We know who is eligible for playoffs. The NALCS, Impulse, Gravity, TSM, CLG, C9, and Liquid will be in the playoffs. CLG fell quite a bit. They lost to Impulse and C9 in the last week, so they're not. I think they're third place in the standings. And C9 is second.
Oh.
Seed, that is.
Alright.
It should be an interesting playoffs, though. Let's see what the bracket was. So first is Impulse versus Gravity, which I think is actually going to be a really close game. Like, I think Impulse has really, really talented players, but they're kind of like, they don't have the best grasp on the meta champions, and objective play. And Gravity is kind of the opposite. They're very, they have very unique meta picks that are good in the meta. Impulse has like a lot of weird picks, but they're not necessarily huge meta picks. Gravity has a lot of unique meta picks, and they also have a really, what I think is a great grasp on objective control. They have a bit less playmaking, but really solid team. Good objective control. I think Gravity will win. If they can adjust to this patch well, so that should be a really good series. And then whoever wins that faces TSM. TSM's obviously going to win. On the other side of the bracket is CLG versus Liquid. Unless CLG just goes full fucking tilt, dude, they've got to beat Liquid. Like, that'd be so tragic if CLG loses to Liquid in the first round. The good thing is that this time, the playoffs are best of 5, all the series. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's good.
Whoever wins that series will face Cloud9. I think probably both would lose to Cloud9. So then the third place, by my guesses, it would be CLG versus Gravity, and I think CLG will win and Gravity will be fourth, of course. Right? Former Curse? No? Curse forever fourth?
No.
Come on,
no.
man. Stick with me. You gotta stick with my shitty jokes.
Let's try.
Anyways, and then TSM versus Cloud9. I think TSM will probably win. Well, Cloud9 is looking like they're picking up steam and starting to play a lot better. I just don't see them overtaking TSM. TSM is playing really, really well. They have a few games where they play a little off, but I think overall their play is just too overall of a package right now. Cloud9 has some issues that are hard to get over, so I think TSM will take it. Do you have any thoughts on the playoffs? Who do you want to win? Who do you think will win? Anything?
Go TSM.
That's it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
In EU, little bit of drama about who didn't make it. Elements will have to play. I think they have to play for their spot, or maybe they're in the one where they. Let's see. They might be in the one where like they don't have to play, but they don't make playoffs. I'm not actually sure.
Huh.
Check real quick. No, it won't let me check without clicking around a bunch. But Elements did not make playoffs this year, which is pretty drastic considering they won last split and like went to Worlds.
Yeah.
So pretty drastic drop in placement.
Huh.
Other than that, I don't think there are too many upsets for people who didn't make it. The bracket is Gambit versus Unicorns of Love. I don't know who will win. Honestly, like the brackets for EU are harder for me. I don't watch as much, but I would guess that Gambit would make it. SK will probably beat Gambit after that. That's the next group. Then it's H2K versus Copenhagen Wolves on the other side. H2K will probably win. And it's H2K versus Fnatic. I think that should probably be a pretty good series. H2K is a really balanced team. Fnatic is kind of a one-sided aggression team. So I'm not sure who will win that. But EU should be a bit more interesting because most of the teams in EU kind of have one style that they play really frequently, and rather than a balanced style, the only like top team who plays a very balanced style is H2K. They play like several different styles. Fnatic is like really aggressive, kind of diving, early game pressure. SK is like push all lanes and counter jungling. Gambit has like this camp top thing going on, and they all kind of have like one style, except for H2K. So I think it'll be interesting. Like whoever's kind of like personal meta fits this last patch, which is actually a pretty big patch. I think will probably be who wins. Or maybe H2K's balanced style will win. I don't know. We'll see. Should be interesting either way though. Who do you want to win, Brad? Come on, I know you're a big EU fan.
Oh, they're all such great teams. I'm sure the best one will win.
The best one.
Yeah. The best one.
Alright. Well, over in the land of Korea, some pretty big games happened this week actually. GE Tigers versus KT happened, in which KT beat the GE Tigers. So that's pretty big, because I don't know. GE's like weaknesses have kind of been getting pretty glaring, and while last night they did beat Najin in the early game like really hardcore, in KT, it just seemed like they were really struggling in the early phases of the game, like in lane swap and stuff, where they would just get huge deficits early on, and they would struggle to get back into the game. So, I don't know. If it seems like as long as you pick like a really strong early game comp, then maybe that might be GE's weakness, because KT just won really strongly in the early game and then snowballed the series and ended up taking the match 2-1. So I don't know. I don't know how to judge GE though, because on one hand, they hadn't lost any matches until recently, right? So you could say, well, they're starting to fall off. You know, the meta isn't in their favor anymore. All that stuff, right? But you can also say that, well, they're guaranteed first seed. Do they really need to try anymore in the season, right? So it's really hard to judge what GE GE's skill level actually is. They're also playing a lot of like picks they've never played in competitive before. So I don't. It's interesting. I'm not sure if they're like just kind of feeling around, like getting experience on different champions, maybe. If they're just like dicking around because they don't care. If they're actually losing, it's kind of hard to judge. Um, so I can't actually tell like what the rankings are in Korea right now, because SKT actually seems like they're on the up and up. They're playing really well. It seems like they have a really great grasp on um, the current meta. It's a great meta for Bangi in the jungle. Um, Faker's never had an issue, obviously, and I don't know. So I think it may end up being a closer playoffs than what I would have thought like a few weeks ago. But like I said, it's hard to guess, hard to judge.
Yeah.
As far as the other interesting series, it would be SKT versus Jenner, which was an odd series because it was 2-0, but it was also a very close series. In both games, SKT started off with a deficit, which is a little bit different than GE's deficits because SKT picked late game comps in both of their games. Granted, they did get pretty significantly behind in game one. But I don't know. I think for the most part they were like pretty acceptable deficits. But it was also like Jenner didn't really seem to know how to close out the games that well either, especially in game one. Game two, I think, was really well played by SKT, and I think it was always kind of going in their favor. But game one was like very iffy, and I think Jenner probably should have won game one. Like I think they had like at least a 6,000 gold lead at one point, if not more. And you should be snowballing that type of a lead a lot harder. But Bangi's like playing Sejuani, playmaking, tanky, support, really good ganks. So I don't know. Good type of jungler style for him. Faker played champions he's never played before, as usual. Played Vlad and Anivia. Whatever. His Vlad was pretty horrendous, though, I gotta say. His Anivia was godlike, but his Vlad was very underwhelming. I don't know. It's interesting. You wouldn't think that he would just pull out Anivia and like be godlike with it, because Anivia is a really hard champion to play really well, especially in competitive. But pulled it off very well. He kind of SKT seems like they have a really. The reason I was saying earlier, like SKT seems to have like a really great grasp on the meta, is they're kind of accepting this tank patch. They had like Sejuani, they had like Urgot, they had Anivia, and they built like late game kind of tanky Anivia, where she had like Roa, Seraphs, Leandries, I think like Deathcap and I don't remember if it was Zonia's or Void Staff, but like a pretty tanky Anivia, and and like Alistar. I forget who they had in the top lane, but it's just like a really tanky team. And Jennera had like Graves and Corki, just champions who really can't do much to tanks, right? Um, so seems like SKT has a pretty great grasp on the current meta, just like huge tanky front lines and tanky back lines, to be honest. So it was interesting to see. And then like the second game, he had like Vlad, and he like rushed Spirit Visage or some shit, which is like, Jesus.
Oh god, that game.
I mean, he got like killed level 2 because he was over aggressive, and like he had some interesting team fighting shit going on, but it was kind of odd. But you know, like that the Spirit Visage rush just goes towards like, you know, just really like tanky, like DPS long fights. You know, that's the type of fight that like Vlad excels in, that Anivia excels in, and it really seemed like that's where competitive league is headed towards, just like really long, drawn out team fights, where positioning and long term DPS is really important. So, and then also last night, GE Tigers versus Najin happened, and GE shit on Najin like in 24 minutes each game. It was crazy. So
Damn.
that's kind of a counterpoint to what I was saying earlier, but whatever. That's pretty much it for competitive league this week. Now we gotta talk about the pain that is preparing for anime conventions, man. Woo, it is rough, man. This year I put so much more pressure on myself to do a lot more at my local anime convention, MTAC. Jesus. This year we're doing, with my friends, I'm doing a cosplay, which is like a weird version of Hatsune Miku. So I've never done cosplay before. I'm doing a lip syncing contest. So I gotta learn a dance, and I gotta learn the words to something.
Please tell me
sure
that'll be a video.
I'm doing a panel. I'm getting a hotel room. It's just like a lot of stuff to like keep track of this year, and then I have even more plans later. So it's been a huge time commitment to do all this stuff. Starting off with the cosplay, like I was just like promised that like I would have to buy a wig, and then my friend would buy all the other stuff. It's become a much larger time commitment and money investment than I originally thought it would be. But because I didn't want to do it half-assed, I ended up just doing it, you know. But my wig was a struggle to deal with. I had to have my sister make me a pretty skirt. I had to buy leggings. You know, all the stuff to make me a pretty girl. But it was a lot more of a hassle than I had originally hoped and thought it would be. Because I originally thought like I would just get the wig, I'd get the jacket, I'd buy some of the clothes, or just borrow some clothes and just kind of go. It wouldn't be a big deal. But I've ended up having to invest. I mean, compared to a lot of people's cosplays, which like take weeks and weeks of time to make, like literal weeks of like working, not just like you know, like a few hours a day, but like weeks of time. Compared to that, like my struggle is very little. But I don't know. It's like I assumed that I could do an okay cosplay without much effort, and it turned out like no, yeah, I can do a shitty cosplay without much effort. And so I've just had to like
Uh,
put in a lot more effort than I wanted to just to do an okay cosplay. But hopefully it'll work out and it'll be a lot of fun. Um, it is like I guess a gender bending cosplay, so it's always fun to like make fun of yourself and be stupid in public, and just relax and have fun. Maybe people will take pictures and enjoy
yeah.
the cosplay. I don't know. We'll see.
Hmm.
Would you ever cosplay, Brad? Never.
No.
Too much effort. Uh,
Yeah.
what character would you cosplay if you could?
Uh, whatever the simplest one is.
Okay, fair enough. I guess I turned you off of that fairly with my bitching and griping, huh? And then I'm working on a panel for Psychopaths, which we reviewed episodes ago on the podcast. But this extends all the way back to season 1. But I do have someone working with me on that, so it's not as big a time commitment. I do think that it's fun. I like doing kind of like informational projects, and it it should be fun to do. I'm curious how many people will show up. They gave us an hour slot to do it, and so I think we can fill up the slot pretty easily. But I don't know how many people are interested in the show. I think it was pretty big, right? What do you think? Did you see a lot of stuff about it? I'm not even sure.
I never really looked, so hard for me to say.
But it should be interesting, especially when we get to season 2 and we're hating on it. That should be even more interesting. But yeah, we're gonna talk about a lot of good stuff like character development in the show, like the merits of the civil system, the change in writing and directing, direction from change in writer and director. Basically, in the second season, the director switched out, so we're gonna talk about that, like the music, like antagonist versus antagonist. A lot of cool little discussions, and at the end we're gonna do like a game with like a questionnaire, and we'll guess like what color you are and stuff based on like civil system and stuff, and then we'll like ask the room as like a hive mind to like verify and stuff. So I think it'll be a good time.
Sounds
What
fun.
color would you be, Brad?
Oh god. I don't even know. Let's just go with green.
What type of green? A light green? A dark green? A blue green?
There's just too many options, man. Just green.
Alright. I'd like to think I am a pretty light color. I think the light colors are the ones that are like not crazy. So hopefully I'd be closer to there. Hopefully I'm not crazy as shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the panel would be pretty fun. I guess it's been a while, but when you did like presentations in high school or whatever, did you enjoy doing those, or did you just feel like it was like more work than you needed to do?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't mind actually presenting them, but I didn't care for doing projects.
Hated the research, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'd agree with that. Like, the busy work aspect isn't that fun. But I like, I don't know, I just like this, I'd hate to say intellectual discussions, because it's not really an intellectual discussion, but just, like, intelligent discussions about different topics and, like, analyzing shows and stuff. So it's a good time to me. So the panel should be fun. doing a lip sync contest as well, while I'm in cosplay, so that'll be odd. We're doing it to the song "Hey Ya" by
Yeah.
Outkast. I'm not sure if you know that. It's like "Hey Ya," you know that? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So we're doing to that song, and friend of the show, Jitsia, set up the dance, so I gotta make sure I have that learned. Gotta have the lyrics learned. Ugh, a lot of work, and so I mean, but it should be a lot of fun. But it's just so much work I made myself do this year.
Uh, don't worry,
What?
it'll be worth it
For
for
you?
me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this year I'm taking a really nice camera, so that'll also be a lot of fun. I'm taking my dad's like HD camera. Just taking a lot of pictures, a lot of movies. It records videos, so that'll be fun as well. I'm not usually a person to take a lot of pictures, not for any particular reason. Just never really like I was never like, oh, I gotta take pictures of everything and stuff. So, but this year I'm taking it just because I'm being so much more involved, and just to capture what I'm doing. So, hopefully I'll have like a nice little post or something with all pictures and funny videos and stuff. Yeah, it is interesting doing the convention with so much more of like a hands-on approach. You know, I've been going to the convention for like since 2008, I think. 2009 maybe. I think so. Damn, I've been going forever. But and I've always kind of had a very passive approach. Just go to different events, go to the dealer room, buy stuff, go to the game like the gaming room, whatever. But I never really did much stuff
Yeah.
with the convention, and so this will be my, like, even though like I know so many people at the convention, this will be like my first time doing a lot of things for the convention and with the convention. So I think it should be fun because it'll be so much of a different experience. And hopefully next week we'll have a giant a bunch of stories for you guys.
Yeah.
Progressing onward through the anime topic. Death Parade has completed. What did you think of the series finale to Death Parade, Brad?
Well, what can I say? It was really sad, and I was a bit disappointed.
You were sad you were like literally emotionally sad, or you were sad that the ending wasn't that good, or what?
I guess I didn't really clarify it. The show was sad, and I was disappointed with it.
You're
you know what I
disappointed
mean?
in the quality. Okay, you're sad about the show, and you're disappointed in the quality, or you're disappointed that it ended sad.
The quality, it didn't turn out to be the great fight show I wanted it to be.
True. We didn't see string on water action or lotus flower beard on string action.
Yeah, dude, it had so much potential.
Yeah, dude. I mean, when you have a asparagus head for a beard, you got to use that for combat.
Yeah, I mean, he tried.
She just dodged and then he just gave up.
I don't know. Yeah. So close,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how like they could have ended the show better. It was a very simple ending for a pretty complex idea. Uh, I'll just go ahead and say spoilers, obviously. But so like she ends up wanting to go back to life and be with her mom, and she regrets that she didn't really value life and value relationships, which is really sad, but also kind of a truth about life. Like it's often really hard to to picture yourself down the line when when you're living in the moment, um, and so it's often hard to know what to do in the present and what to do with your life, especially when you're like in a really dark spot. And I thought the show like had a lot of interesting insight on, you know, dealing with issues in life and what like the different ways people deal with the hardships in their life, because a lot of the obviously like they're all the characters had like really extreme deaths except for the grandmother, I guess. um, but they're all very varying types of death, um, and so and most of them had some sort of a regret or some sort of um, a very drastic view on um, different view on like how to live life. So I thought it was is like an interesting way to like look look at that. I guess I don't know if that was kind of rambling, but
I
so
gotcha.
I enjoyed it. I think the show ended very simply, considering what it was kind of like hinting at. It was just like she goes to like the recycled soul place. Deckham has human emotions now. Nona is just like, that's the way it's gotta be. Beard guy's just like, whatever, dude. I don't know. A lot less conflict than I thought. Um, it just turns out like she just wanted judgments of humans to be more realistic. Like, when judging the worth of a human life, if you can't empathize, then you can't really judge them properly, which I think is a good point. Like, if you can't really empathize with someone's thought processes, emotions in life, how can you really? You can't really understand their motivations and things. So, wise by her, I guess. But it was also a lot like, it seemed like they were hinting at so much more, so that was kind of disappointing, I guess. But I don't know. The show just, I guess, ended up being a lot more simple than I thought it would be. But it was still like a very beautiful concept. And I think a very eloquent demonstration on what they wanted to say, and it was kind of bittersweet and sad at the end, but I enjoyed it. I don't know.
It was good.
Yeah. Do you have any other comments? What do you rate it, Brad?
I see what time it is. The number of time. You know what? Today feels like a 7.5 out of 9.
7.5 out of 9. Let's see. I don't want to round that up, man. Come on. What is that, like an 8.2 out of 10 or something?
We can go to 8.3. I'll give it to the show.
Okay. That's an IGN review if I have ever heard it. I mean, I think I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. Maybe a 7.5 out of 10. Like, it was a good show, but I would never say, like, it was mind-blowing or anything. It was just, like, a really good show. But, like, not earth-shattering in any particular department. It was just really well-produced, well-animated, had an interesting concept, and had some interesting thoughts on life in general. So, I don't know. Any other final comments on Death Parade, Brad? No?
No.
Nothing about Ginty and the cat?
They were both great characters. Especially the cat.
Alright. Well, one second. But yeah, Death Parade was good. Moving on though, pretty excited. I have finalized my trip to Bolivia now, which I am looking forward
Oh,
to immensely. I'll be going with close friend Fernando, who unfortunately has not been on the show. But that should be a lot of fun. He's from Bolivia. Gonna go for a month. We'll be going in May to June, so that'll be a lot of fun. I haven't been. Oof, I haven't flown like internationally since I went to Israel back in like 2011. So it's been a while, and I don't know. It will be a lot of fun going in like seeing a new country and stuff. Have you been to like any place like super foreign, Brad? You've just been to like U.S., right?
just the U.S. and
Mexico.
Mexico.
All right. Did you spend a lot of time in Mexico?
Well, none of the trips have been longer
Mm.
than 2 weeks. Just like resort trips, some
Uh,
sightseeing.
did you went to a resort in Mexico then? Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my trip will be a bit different. It's more of like live the life of your average Bolivian. Except Fernando's not the average Bolivian because he's
Mm.
no, never mind. I don't want to insult Bolivia. But yeah, no, I'll just be like living with him for a month. We'll like go look around the country, do touristy things, probably go camping, go to parties, stuff. You know, join the Bolivian drug trade, all that good stuff.
Yeah. hmm
But yeah, so I don't know, like if you go on a trip, I think if you go out of the country, I think you should go out of the country for a long time. Did you really enjoy your trip to Mexico? Did you feel like you got to experience Mexico, or did you just kind of experience the resort?
No, it was just a
Uh,
resort. Like I said, like it was pretty much just a resort and a couple of sightseeing things. We really didn't plan enough
uh,
shit to do, so.
yeah. No, I mean like I feel like if you're gonna go to another country, you gotta look around. You gotta spend a lot of time there, like experience the culture. What's the point of going to a different country if
Hmm.
you're not gonna go and experience shit, man? You gotta get
But
food
caves.
poisoning. You gotta like get some new disease. You gotta get bit by some bug you don't know.
Uh, I mean, it's warm there. It's not
True,
warm
true.
here, so that is a
Okay,
thing.
if you did spend a long time out of the country, what country would you want to go to? And it can't be
Hmm.
like the U.S. or some stupid shit.
That'd be a good one. No, maybe
Spain, huh?
Spain.
Any particular
Yeah.
reason? Just Spain.
No.
Why Spain? Come on, you have to have some reason.
Okay. Because I don't want to go to
You
Italy.
don't want to go to Italy.
It's close enough.
But like there are other countries that aren't Italy. Why Spain?
You know, I had reasons. I just don't remember them. We just go with that.
Sure, I guess. You enjoy the beautiful Spanish architecture. They're
Yeah.
what else does Spain
Yeah.
have?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
They
all
have a
those. Yeah.
midday nap every day. Did you know that?
Yeah. No, but
Yeah, you,
that's
you
great.
go to work, you leave to eat lunch, then you take a nap, and then you go back to work.
Huh. It's
Um,
interesting.
what else? Does Spain have a wine country? I don't remember. You're obviously very Catholic, so I'm sure you'd enjoy it there. You speak fluent
Yeah.
Spanish,
It's.
so it makes sense to go.
hmm
You have a lot of friends in Spain, so yeah, I can see why
hmm
you'd want to go.
hmm Yeah. All great reasons to go.
I at least have some reasons why I want to go to Bolivia. Obviously Fernando is from there, so I'll have a place to stay and a tour guide. I speak Spanish, but I haven't really been to South America since I was 8, so it's been a while. It'll be good to practice Spanish and hang out with a friend. Good to get away from your own circle of troubles and worry about other things. So it'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
All right.
That is it for this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Check out our YouTube, our Facebook, Brad's YouTube, our website, all the stuffs. And you know what? We'll see you guys next week for a special MTAC episode.
Special MTAC episode.
And then Brad will...
All right,
Brad will... What will you have for them next week? Come on, Brad. Give them something to look forward to.
Oh, a poem.
I'll
think of something
Have a
good.
poem for next week, Brad.
God fucking damn it.
Come on, you could even do like a haiku.
Fine, I'll write a haiku.
They'll remember, Brad. They'll remember.
Oh, God. Yeah, I know.
Well, thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.